Now again.
Marcy, you've always been a blessing in our family. If you never caused me a minute's worry. Of course, you were a normal little girl. One thing I would like, well, first of all, let me mention that when several years ago, I was in Bassett, sitting across from you at a picnic table, and I almost felt like I was talking to myself in the mirror. I didn't know you were so much like me because I thought you were more Eshelman than Whitmer. But there's definitely one Eshelman trait you evidently picked up, and that was, even as a little girl, you reached out and carried so many more responsibilities in our family and home than other kids would do. Tell me why. Why did you feel like you had to carry so many responsibilities as a child?
Well,
Beyond.
I guess in a way, when you really look back over, you try to think, or I do as an adult in relationship to my children and so forth, what made me what I am, why do I do the things I do? From what I understand, as a 3-year-old, we were living in a bus for 6 months, and I got a spanking for wasting half a piece of bread. How could you grow up in that environment without learning responsibility? It would be almost impossible. And then there was baby brothers and baby sisters, and somebody had to help take care of them.
Well, you did a good job.
And so how would you be able to grow up in that kind of environment and not learn responsibility?
That's true, and you've been a big help. At the same time, with you carrying those kind of responsibilities as a child, you would have carried this over into your adult and been carried the responsibilities into your marriage. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I do have some problems along this line, and I've learned a lot from my children. What I want to know is how do you keep Melvin happy when you get cocky and responsible for and take off in some of your ideas, because we all think for ourselves.
Well, I think we had to learn a lot at Tabernacle because he was so busy. We mentioned downstairs. He was so busy for so many years. When I got married, I was dependent. In other words, I thought I could lean on him. But then he was so busy that he wasn't there, I couldn't lean on him. So I had to learn to live my life. And in the process of that taking place, then I built all these responsibilities and got involved in all that I'm involved in now. And so now he is patient in the sense that he's thinking, well, I did it to her for those many years, now she's doing it to me. So we have had to learn to accept each other. He accepts the fact that I want areas to grow and don't get too close, and I am that way. Even there's times when, he would hug me real tight, and all of a sudden I realize, hey, somebody's hugging me tight. Turn and look, and there's that part of me. Get so close, don't get no closer. And I mentioned this one reason I went to work at the steakhouse. All of a sudden, I was keeping kids at my house, and I was enjoying that, and in a sense, I had a full life. But often I felt like my family was my family. I remember one day I wanted to go somewhere. For a day I had made arrangements, and then Melvin had car trouble, and he said, okay, we'll go somewhere together. And I resented it because I didn't want him with me that day. I wanted that day for me, and he realized that. And I realized, wait, my family's closing in on me. Give me some run, let me alone, And that's the reason. One of the reasons I went to work at the steakhouse to have that area of my life free. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think you're more like me than I thought you were.
But I think it's really, we've been married a long time, and he's learned to accept me as what I am, and sometimes I think better than I have learned to accept him for what he is. He is really, I'm always very uncritical of me. He seems to accept anything more than the average person would. He's very non-judgmental.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. I mentioned that I've learned a lot from my children. They stretched me, and they taught me lessons that I wouldn't have learned if I wouldn't have been a mother. What valuable lessons have you learned from your 3 children?
I guess I learned more from them than they have from me.
I bet that's right.
And then too, again, I look back over my childhood and I am aware of the values that were placed in my life. And really, I'm not sure at this point whether I have been able to build those same values into my children's life. Partly maybe the age and the point they are in life, but I'm not sure because maybe we have developed too much responsibility, but we did learn responsibility. And I did learn supreme trust in God, which I still want to see develop in my children. And just some very basic things. Somehow or another, I'll look back and I think, how did Mom and Daddy teach us that? Because they did build some good things in our life that I hope my children will develop yet. I don't think they have developed as much as I'd like to see them develop.
Do you remember when you were a little girl how you used to clean up the kitchen and live in a little daydream, lay a little ball on the counter and clean up because it was your little world at that time? Do you ever see Melanie doing the same thing?
Yeah, Melanie's main attraction is everybody get out of the house, let me clean it up to perfection, get the rest, and just live my little world right here. And she don't want you to mess up that little world either. That's her world. It's nice. I don't have to keep the house clean. When I started working in the daycare and all, she'd fuss about the house or the boys not doing something, I'd say, well, just forget it. They're living here. If they want it done, let them do it. I'm not living in a dirty house. And so I don't have to worry about the house being clean. If I never touched it, it would not be dirty as long as Melanie lives there.
When you push her out.
No, she's a real help in that area.
I remember one time when you were aggravated at Melvin Next, you wrote him a letter so you could speak your mind and speak it kind. Do you still write him letters now and then?
No, not really. If I felt the need to, I might would.
Can you communicate with Melvin in any one of your moods?
I think we have a good relationship. We're not perfect. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. And we're, in a lot of ways, we're non-compatible, and there's a lot of things that he's not interested in that I would be interested in. And his viewpoints on a lot of things are different than mine. But we know each other, and we accept that. If there's something I'm interested in he's not, I can find another way to use that interest without frustrating him or me getting frustrated. I think we accept each other to a large extent. We don't have a perfect marriage, but I think we have a love relationship that a lot of people never know.
That one that's going to last down through all the
I guess that you know that you're not alike, that you're different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know that no matter what happens, you can depend on that other person, and they will support you. And that's something I don't think very many people know in their life.
Right now in your life, do you feel like you're in a circus, jumping from one, what's the name of those things?
High jump.
Yeah, from one of those high swings over to another, you know. And in other words, when you're leading one experience into another, it takes a lot of faith and confidence. Do you have that faith and confidence?
I think any time you go through a fast growth situation, there is all kinds of emotions involved. And that's definitely true. I've had all kinds of mixed emotions. Because right now we are going through a lot of transitions all at once, you know, and not really knowing what tomorrow will hold. But I have learned that it's not a matter, life is not built up just in security, it's built up in growth and challenge. And I would rather give up security for growth and the challenge of what's going to take place today than to know it's going to be the same humdrum thing day after day. if you're
Like
just
old
gonna,
Deb Moore,
it's
yeah.
not like an old folks home getting up and eating your breakfast and sitting in the till dinner and eating your dinner and eating your supper and going back to bed. That may be secure and stable and you know it's going to be that way, but who wants to live like that? I don't. I would rather not quite know what's going to happen tomorrow, but know that it's going to take every ounce of growing and energy and planning and initiative and thought that I have, because it's that challenging. And life is that way right now.
I believe it. I have one more question. With your brothers and sisters having lifestyles so different from you, do you feel like it was worth the time and the effort to come to Hilton Head?
Oh, I've enjoyed it. I needed it because life is pretty hectic right now, and I needed a break into another area of life. And it is good to see everybody, see how they've changed. And I was looking at the scrapbook you had laid in my lap, and I realized 12 years ago we had a family picture laid. And I realized in those 12 years we've really changed in appearance a whole lot. And who knows what the next 12 years will be like.
Well, I don't reckon in 12 years from now, I'll be very, very surprised if your mother and daddy are still here.
Oh, sure, I think you'll be here.
I just want to live as long as I can be a blessing to people, and I hope I'll never be a burden. But we're very, very happy that you came, and 2 years from now when you come back, why, I hope you can tell us how this here new challenge has turned out. And I do believe it's going to work out for you, because I have confidence in you and in the God you're trusting.
The Lord said He would provide our needs, and He has done that thus far, and I know He's going to do it the rest of the way. And I enjoy success, but I think a person who has real inner strength, which I want to learn to develop, is a person who can not only enjoy success, but can accept failure without being destroyed by it. And therefore, you don't have to be afraid. How can you haven't really failed even when you failed, if you can live with that failure. And that's what I want to be able to do.
That's what Happy said when I was talking to her. She said, we're survivors. We can make anything as long as we have each other in our
I
health.
know a lot of people say, "Why you scared to death to do what you're doing?" Well, there is some trepidation and concern, but if the Lord's in it, it will go. And if He doesn't intend for it to go, I still learn. Even though financially it might make it difficult for a few years, I have a few more years to live anyway.
I see more growing pains in your daughter than in you.
It's hard for Melanie. Melanie is the type of person who wants life laid out, just 1, 2, 3, 4, and don't disturb that. Melvin has a sister that's made like that. And that type of person, I think, sounds life very difficult. And I'm glad in a way that we're going through this now, because it may help her in the future. Because life is not going to be like that. It's just not going to be like that. Some people might go through a lifetime and their life be laid out 1, 2, 3 and don't disturb, and they might be able to do that, but not very many people. And somebody who's programmed that way, if somebody drops in on them, everything falls apart. If a appliance breaks, their life falls apart. If somebody doesn't do exactly what they expect them to do, they fall apart. And right now, Melanie's sort of natured that way.
Well, maybe she should stay after her grandma, because I remember one time you set up on a cabinet beside a big lamp, and you knocked it over, and I sat down and cried. So doesn't that sound like Melanie?
But no, you're not like that. But she's a very interesting person. But challenge is scary to her. And I guess one thing I want her to see, that challenge is good for us. It doesn't hurt. And that we can learn to live not week by week or month by month or year by year, but day by day. And you look back over the day and say, oh, this has been a pretty good day. It really wasn't so bad after all. And tomorrow will work out too. But I guess that's one thing I noticed in my kids, and I hope they will develop. Like they'll many times hang curtains, and to me it's a small thing, but because they don't hang right, she's all up in the air. And I think, big deal, you work at it a little bit longer. But a young person doesn't have the ability to handle that yet. But if she learns, if they can learn to handle that, I often tell them, I'm not trying to make you think life's bad, but if I can prepare you for the difficult places, you don't need me about preparing you for the easy places. They're no problem. You can handle the easy places, but somebody's going to have to help you learn how to handle the difficult places. And
teaching them.
if they can learn to handle it now, then a lot of their problems are conquered, I think.
Okay. I'm glad if you can.
Oh, I see. If
Okay.
you just leave it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, the pause will set off and anyway, Ed, hard to believe it had been, how long, 10 years? I remember the first time we met, we were living in the old house on East North Street, and you and Happy came in there. We played racquetball down at that racquetball club. Wasn't that the first time? Wasn't that 10 years ago?
I don't know if it was the first time or not, but yeah, I remember playing. You guys, you young fellas, about to kill me.
Well, I don't know if I'm one of the young fellows that have killed anybody at racquetball, but anyway, it's just interesting to reflect back that that's already been 10 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
What do you think about that 10-year period of time in terms of getting to know the Eshelman family and married with Happy and raising children? Has this been one of the more eventful decades in your life?
I would say so. It probably is. I think as we all get a little older, they seem to cram a little more, become more compact, and things happen a little faster. At least it seems to.
I'm very impressed with your girls.
Thank you.
Don't know whether it's the excellent training or just the heredity that they get from your side and from Happy's side, but they certainly are remarkable children, smart and well trained, and easy to like and easy to be around.
Well, Happy and I are very pleased with them. We, so far, they have turned out just the way we could get on our knees and pray they would turn out. We'll see what the future brings. Hopefully it'll continue this way.
Ed, we've heard a lot about your career situation and Happy's too with the airline strike and everything. Tell us a little council report of how that came about, and is it definitely resolved, and is it resolved on a long-term basis, or is it something that can come up again?
Well, when you're dealing with a large corporation and a labor union, there's only the length of the contract is guaranteed. You don't know what's going to change in the marketplace between now and then. You don't know how management is going to change, which is basically what happened to us this last time. Happy and I, in our wildest dreams, could never imagine ourselves on the picket line. I mean, you think of steel workers walking a picket line, we consider ourselves professionals, and you just don't imagine that. Sure, it can happen again. We do have a contract, and it runs through April of 1988. However, Happy's contract expires in less than a year from now. So we're dealing with another union and another contract. Things look real good. We won, so we think that kind of will alleviate any problems with Happy's contract, because their union was along with.
What was the big issue in this last?
Well, there were a lot of issues. It was a management philosophy. The management philosophy determined that they were going to break our union. Well, we really considered ourselves more an association than a union, and we found out we better become a union real quick, or our profession was going down the tubes. So we worked hard. We did some things that have never before been done in the labor movement in this country. And we tended to, it looks like maybe we stopped the pendulum as far as what's been happening management-labor relations under the Reagan administration. And it looks like maybe we stopped it. Let's see.
Well, good.
Our prospects for the future will be interesting to see what happens the next time we get together like this. But United Airlines looks like it's really going to take off now, and I've spent almost 18 years with the company preparing myself to fly captain. When I was hired, I thought it was going to be 10 years. It turned out to be 18. And with the expansion and with our purchase of Pan American Pacific Division, it really is going to expand, and it'll be interesting to see where we are 2 years from now.
In terms of flying, you have normally, 3 people in the cockpit, a captain?
Some airplanes. The airplane I'm in has 3. There will never be another 3-man airplane built.
So most of them are a captain and a co-captain or a...
What we call a captain and a first officer and a second officer.
Mm-hmm.
We're all three pilots. The second officer's duties do not require him to have physical control of the airplane. I personally am the first officer, and the captain and the first officer share the flying.
Mm-hmm.
And but all airplanes now, they have so many more automated systems. As you know, you probably have better stuff in your airplane than I have in a 727.
Only takes one of me to fly.
That's right. And there will never be another three-man airplane built.
Well, then the prospects of you becoming captain, which obviously has to be important, I mean, to you, how long term do you think that is now?
Right now, I think I'm looking at 3 to 4 years, and where it will be my choice.
You said
I may delay it a little bit longer because I will never get to fly the wide-body airplanes as a captain. I'll never be that senior until I reach the mandatory retirement age of 60. So I may choose to delay flying narrow-body captain just so I can fly to Hong Kong and Tokyo and Singapore and all those places we're going to go.
Is United flying international now?
Yes, we're flying Hong Kong and Tokyo.
And Pan America has a lot.
All over Australia, Singapore, New Zealand, all those places. And we just bought those routes and the airplanes are flying there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exciting
Is there a
prospect.
different union for Pan American?
No,
It's all one.
It's all one, and we are taking some of their pilots and they'll be merging our seniority list.
Mm-hmm.
All of their pilots that will be coming with us, I understand, are within 2 to 3 years of retirement.
That's probably good news.
That's very good news for me.
Well, this reunion has been great. Each year we, my family particularly enjoys having something with your family. We're happy with the girls and the sports and everything. We didn't play much tennis this year.
No, we done on
You
that.
figure 2 years from now you got to give up on golf and go back to tennis again. Whether we play. Great. Look forward to it. 2 years from now, probably soon.
I hope so.
Green light's on. Okay, Jim. I don't.